Yeah. We're back once again to the show that shatters the silence on men's mental health. We are unedited, unfiltered,
And as always, we are going raw. I'm Anthony.
and my name is Joey.
And I'm Eric, and we're your hosts, and welcome to Raw Minds.
Yeah, buddy.
There it is.
Season 2.
Take 3.
Anthony.
Take
Anthony.
3.
Fuck
Anthony
yeah.
is the cream filling to this Oreo.
Anthony needs to buy a more comfortable fucking chair if I'm going to sit here for an hour every Monday.
No kidding, man.
Oh,
No shit. Hey, dude, I sat in one of my old chairs. Dude, I was fucking driving me nuts. And I sat here one night and I couldn't even stand up after. Amazon delivered next day.
yeah,
Like,
I know.
way better. Now I just rock in my chair.
I know. You guys look so comfortable, and I'm just here all like tense and shit.
But I got my feet up. I'm relaxing, man. You know, you got to be
Chilling.
comfy, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be chilling.
Chillin'.
What do you guys
What's
think,
up?
man? Aggression and anger.
He's
that what
I've
we're
never
angry.
been angry, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never been angry.
Is that what we're
Chill.
talking about tonight? Just people that are really mad and why?
Yeah, I guess
A bunch
so,
of
yeah,
fucking Kyles punching holes in drywall and drinking monsters all day.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, pretty much, man. I think we've all been angry at some time in our life, right? I mean, definitely, and it's affected people. So I
Oh,
think it's a good topic to talk about. Definitely.
Yeah, man. I got a whole list of shit that I used to be like, and a lot of good stuff that I learned, a lot of tools from when I was in treatment back in 2021 too, that we can touch on for sure, man.
Let's do it, man.
Fire away, buddy. Why don't you start it off?
Well, let me start by asking you guys some questions, man.
Yeah.
What would you say one of your lowest points in, like, when you're angry? Like, what brought out like so much anger in you? What, like,
The
there you
triggers?
go. Yeah, your trigger.
Some people don't even know what their triggers really are because
Definitely.
most of your anger, like explosive anger especially, isn't a response at the present moment. It's stems from traumas in your life and childhood shit, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why people are so quick to snap. And majority of the time, like I said, is not what's being said at that moment at you or what was done. Sure, it might be a little whatever, but you have taken it way above and farther than it really should be because you've been holding on to shit inside for so long. And whoever pissed you off or whatever situation set you off, what is makes you, like I said, take it way farther and really causes you to explode like that is a lot of what's the word I'm looking for?
Pain.
Just basically a lot of pain, even like
Yeah.
push down pain that person has never dealt with, you know, and that's a big thing with, you know, like all the shit that we've been through and what we talk about is talking about these things so this shit doesn't happen. Like these kind of people that blow up with explosive anger and punching the holes in the walls and flipping tables and punching people and all this, you know, aggressive, abusive behavior, you know, that's their breaking points to all the shit that they've been burying that they never dealt with.
Yeah.
Right. So all these little triggers are just setting them off like fireworks. But, you know, this goes back to this book I read. I think we talked about it last year, maybe briefly, but when people go through these things and you see people act like that, your first reaction and first thought of if I seen a guy smashing a window, punching holes in the walls, everyone, the first thing they're gonna think is, what the fuck is wrong? Like, what's wrong with that guy?
Yeah.
What's his problem?
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
But the one book that I read, it was called What's Happened to You, is people won't look at someone like that and ask what happened to them rather than what's wrong with them,
Yeah.
right? For someone to act like that and for these fucked up things that people do and that we don't agree with a lot of it, obviously, but there's something there and something happened to these people that was either traumatizing, abusive as a child, what abandonment issues, all these things that we all dealt with or in some level has built up to make this person or those people act the way that they act and with that explosive anger, and they don't know how to control that. So
Well, back to my question though, like what made you get to that point with your like explosive? Like what kind of anger would have to bring that out in you?
for me, when I
Yeah.
look back, I'm usually, well, for the people that do know me, I'm pretty chill. I'm not an explosive, angry guy. I am
Yeah.
more of a internal,
Okay.
and I usually keep it to myself. However, I never used to be like that when I was younger, and I think that a lot of this also comes with maturity and age as well, on learning how to deal with certain situations as you get older and blah blah blah.
Definitely.
But the things that even to this day I guarantee would put me over the edge is my children. And I'm not saying what they do, but like I had a lot of issues in the past with courts and my exes and fighting for my children and all that. And so when you're taking a direct shot at my parenting and all I'm trying to do is be there and be a good parent,
Yeah.
but you're like, for example, years ago, there she's saying this and all lies. And everyone knows it's a lie, but to the judge to try to make herself look better to make me look bad, dude, like I explosive because and I didn't know how to regulate it at the time because all I was trying to do was be civil, be there. Here's your money. Let me see my kid. And then instead it's this like a lot of men go with these custody battles or dealing with. So for me, that's the big one for me is attacking my parenting
Mm-hmm.
or seeing my children. So
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes
definitely.
sense.
How
Yeah,
about you, Anthony?
you know what's funny is like I had therapy on Saturday, and I'll just touch on the therapy and then I'll go into to answer your question, Eric. So I learned a lot on Saturday in therapy, kind of like the anger that I'm dealing with right now, because I am the explosive, angry person. Like, dude,
Mm-hmm.
it's fucked, man. I'll shut off emotions. I don't care what I say. I don't care what I do. It just comes out. And when I run out of gas, I run out of gas. Come back to, and it's like, what the fuck just happened? So I was dealing with some situations in therapy, and my therapist had kind of just said to me, like, like obviously dealing with it with anger is not the optimal way to deal with it. But
Mm-hmm.
what it is it's an emotional response to something that I feel is threatening a part of me. And that part of me that it's threatening is like my want to be loved. So what happens is this part of me that comes out is this part that wants to defend and protect me. And the only way that I've used that outlet is through anger. That's what I'm dealing with right now. But I'll just go into to answer your question, like what triggered it. So when I went to treatment back in 2021, we used to do like we'd have classes every fucking day, man, and we do like clinical emotion, clinical boundaries, clinical anger. So classes on how to set healthy boundaries, how to deal with your emotions, and when to deal with anger. And every time we had the anger class, man, I left that class like raging fucking mad every time. And I remember one time my one counselor was teaching the class, and after the class I went up to him out we were outside having a smoke after, and I went up to him and I'm like, buddy, I'm sorry, but your class is a fucking joke, man. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, like you're teaching a class on anger and I leave more angry than I did before before I fucking got there. Like, what the fuck? So then
Yeah.
I went and sat with my other therapist, and God love this woman, she's hands down the best therapist I've ever had. And she's like, "So I heard you had a little issue in your anger class the other day." I'm like, "Yeah, it's fucking stupid. Like I leave more mad than I was before I got there." She's like, "So would you say you had an expectation going into that class?" I'm like, well, yeah, like it's supposed to help with my anger and it's making it worse. She's like, oh, so your expectation wasn't met. And I'm like, well, no, I guess not. She's like, would you say that you use anger as a sense of control? And when she said that, I'm like, holy fuck. Like, that's what I did with my kids' mom when shit wasn't going my way. And I learned it through work. Like, when I lived in Alberta, I had a boss. He was the best boss I ever had, man. But when this dude lost his shit, he would never attack you as a person. He would always attack your work. And like, he would be sure to let you know that, like, you're better than what you're putting out, right? Like, he didn't call
Yeah.
me an idiot, he didn't call me a piece of shit, it was just like, "Man, like, what the fuck is this?" And he would scream and yell, and I saw the level of control that he would maintain utilizing anger in that way. So I picked that up when I was, like, 19 years old, and I used it all the way up until I was almost 30. So in any situation, if it wasn't going my way, I would try to use anger as a way to regain control of the situation, not realizing at the time that it did the complete fucking opposite. Because
Mm-hmm.
I figured if I
Mm-hmm.
instilled fear in people, they would listen to me. And I was explosive. And looking back, man, like there was times like when I was in active addiction, man, my kids knew and my kids' mom knew that if I came home from work and I had a nap, don't fucking talk to me for an hour after I wake up. Because if you talk to me, like I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. Like I am
Yeah.
the explosive type. There was never this slow build up. It was like hold it in, and just boom. Like, and I couldn't hold it very long. And it just like came out. Like I had no self-control over that emotional response because that's what anger is an emotional response. It's
100%.
for me, it's like a reaction to something that you're not okay with. And I just from seeing it with the men in my life, that's the only way that I responded to it was, "Oh shit, something's wrong. Respect this person." But not everybody in life sees it that way. And it's not a good way to do it, man. Like especially in this day and age. It was cool when our parents were
Yeah.
young, but not anymore, right? We're not in the baby boomer phase anymore. So yeah,
So
I
you
really
you
I
pretty much used your anger then to put fear into people so they would do stuff that you wanted.
to instill fear, maintain
Yeah.
control, and when my expectations weren't met. That's
Well,
my big 3.
if you look at the past and um like way back, that's what countries used to do, right? Is put fear into,
Mhm.
other countries, go attack, do all that in order to gain control. So it's not just you. I mean, it's been passed down, I guess you could say generation by generation by
Yeah.
generation,
Yeah, that's right.
way before we were around, right? I'm talking like the AD days and whatever they're called. So I mean, it's realistically, I say that humans are just learning how to be nice.
Mhm.
It really is. Like you think about it way back in the day, man, cavemen. Go bang your woman over the head with a club and drag her back into the cave, you know what I mean?
Club
Like,
that bitch. Yeah.
but I mean, realistically, like, we are just learning to, like, be nice.
Yep.
Some people just aren't there yet, I guess. Well, a lot of people. I mean, it took me having a kid in order to change my whole life. If anything, I had a huge anger problem. I used to punch holes in my door all the time. I think I told you guys I went through like 7 doors. My mom got tired of buying doors, so she put a sheet of plywood at the top, and she says, "Go ahead, punch that." And I couldn't get through it. I'll tell you that it was a 3/4 inch piece of plywood I was
You just
punching
didn't
that
try
hard.
hard enough, bud. Come on.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, I got to the point where I was punching it so much that my knuckles filled up with like pus and like water
That's
that I
what
started
mine do.
headbutting it. Yeah, and I started headbutting the damn thing because I just wanted to inflict pain. It was fucked.
Yeah.
But now that I'm older, I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I'm breaking doors. I'm just costing my mom money at that point in my life. But what I don't understand is people get mad and they smash their phones on the ground.
I did that
Like,
a lot.
yeah, you gotta pick it up. I mean, you gotta get a new phone now. You gotta pull money out of your pocket and go buy a new phone.
Mhm.
You know? The anger makes us do crazy things, and then you regret it after.
That's what I was. Like I wasn't much for abusing people, but fucking cell phones, laptops, TVs, holes in drywall, doors, like I abuse the shit out of inanimate objects. I would fuck up anything.
Yeah.
If it didn't have a
Yeah.
heartbeat, I was punching my fucking fist through it.
But for why, right? It's because we let people live rent free in our heads, or we give a shit about what people say, which
Yeah.
in general we don't. And I'll say that my famous saying, "You're not coming to my birthday party. Why should I give a shit about what you think of me?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest thing is we fight ourselves. At the end of the day, let the person say whatever he wants. Who gives a fuck about what they have to say?
Yep.
You got better things to deal with.
That's
But
right.
it's hard too, because like with also anger and aggression, I mean it can stem, like Joey says, from like childhood, like trauma, anything from that, to even like, hating your job,
Yeah.
or you have stress. Stress is huge, man. And then when you have stress, you have anger, and when you have anger, you have stress. So it's a combined of both, right?
Yeah.
And
Just a
then when
vicious
you have
cycle.
exactly, and then when that happens, man, you're just, you can get unhealthy. Your anxiety then will kick in. Your eating habits go down. You can have a heart attack. You know, it's you got to learn how to control your feelings at the end of the day, right? It's hard. I mean, I fucking lose it all the time.
Well, did you know that anger is the most toxic emotion that we have? And it's the only emotion that is linked to causing heart damage and cardiovascular risk over time.
Yep.
The only
Really,
emotion. Yep.
really,
The only one studied and tied to causing physical problems to your body by holding on to that emotion.
that's
And the
crazy. So,
heart damage
well,
by
yeah,
being angry all the time and holding on to that.
was that
It's
big? I
fuck.
guess because your heart rate is just pumping, I guess, right? And it's just putting so much shit on it
Yeah,
and
like you
stress.
look at it like this, like a way to I learned this in therapy too, is
Yeah,
and this kind of it goes hand in hand with letting go. We always talk about letting go so you're able to bring more into your life and let go of what that person's done to you or who hurt you or whatever, right?
yeah,
Like there's different obviously thing letting go sorry, different scenarios or events that's happened to your life that it kind of changes a little bit. Like obviously, you know, for you, if, for example, your fiance passed away, right?
yeah,
That's a little different than your best friend ripped you off and stabbed you in the back, but you're holding
yeah.
on to that anger compared to the loss, right? So it's a different of letting go. But what I'm talking about is the anger of what someone's done to you. Like how could you hurt me? My best friend went behind my
Betrayal.
back and betrayed me, or
Yeah,
my wife slept with the neighbor and cheated on me. Like that kind of anger and that hurt that we hold on to is and what I was taught or told to do actually is you look at it like you take all the things that you're just fucking angry about all the time and like you said living rent free in your head because it ruins your day. You're not present. All you're doing is stewing in it. You're hurt, you're angry, you're upset all day. Every day you wake up, you're just vibrating and you can't believe they do this and people hold on to this cuz I did it. I held on to it for like a year on what one person did until I learned to do these things. And that's what
yeah,
we're here is to try to help with the tools and etc., right? To help other people not hold on to these things for very long.
yeah,
You take a cinder block or a bowling ball or something really heavy that you can carry, but really heavy. And you take a piece of tape or a sticky note and you write down what it is that you're so fucking angry about. Tape it on that cinder block or bowling ball and walk around for half an hour, just carrying it with you and see how heavy and how much that weighs you down. And then once you put it down, you're going to see how much your fucking arms hurting, your shoulders hurting. And then eventually you're going to start to feel better. Now, if you keep holding on to these things in your head that is causing you your anxiety, causing you to have explosive anger and snap at people who didn't deserve it and yell at your wife and your kids and have these little triggers, is think of you as carrying that fucking brick or that bowling ball all day long. And that's why you're getting so angry because you can't let it go and it's just weighing you down no matter where you go. So until you're able to put that down and release some of that through therapy, through workshops or whatever it is, groups, men's groups, fucking you name it, anything, any positive outlet that you can find to start to release that, then you're not going to have that explosive anger, and those
Mhm.
triggers aren't going to set you off as bad, and you'll start to be able to be a little bit more self-aware when it does come up, because now you're really angry and you're like, and then you get to a point where it's like you're about to punch a wall and you're just like, it's not worth it. So
Mhm.
then eventually, as you learn these tools and able to talk through this, then you'll get to a point where you'll start to shrug these things off almost, where you're just like, you know what, there's nothing I can do about it. There's me flipping a table right now can change absolutely nothing, and you will
Yeah.
get to that point. But to get to that point is you have to go and find the counselors and find to really hit these anger issues head on, right? So you don't have to be like that. And now those and that, especially the explosive anger, is guys especially smacking their wives around and damaging their own home, like, you know what I mean? Because they have no control, just like Anthony said.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if it was an object, he was smashing it and without thought.
Yep.
And
Literally.
then
Well,
people are like that because they can't regulate their emotions. So once they're in that, just like you, it's like you see red, done. There goes the house. Better get out of the house. Stay
yeah.
out of his way. Don't talk to him when he wakes
Yeah.
up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And yeah, so it's definitely, like I said, it's also like the most toxic emotion you can have that is damaging not only to yourself, but like I said, as an example, is carrying around that bowling ball, because that's what you're doing. You're
Yep.
basically like tying that chain and ball around your ankle, like in the olden days, and then just walking around and just dragging. You know what I mean?
Well, not
So
just that too.
you
There's
got to,
also, well, I was just saying, not that also too, there's branches too though of anger too, right? Like you got aggression, um, even depression. Like there's a bunch of different branches that also follow that as well.
and and like for me, I wasn't an like years ago, like I mentioned, certain things. Yeah, I was uh explosive,
Yeah.
but now it would be, there's also people that suppress their anger,
Yeah.
right? And they
That's the
push it
fucking
down
most dangerous thing you can ever do, man.
as the
Yeah.
suppress the anger because they're not releasing it. And there's a lot of things that come as, when you suppress your anger is a lot of you'll notice little things in people too, and they don't realize is a lot of sarcasm or cynicism or passive aggressiveness. That's all from suppressed anger,
Mhm.
or overly judgmental of others. Because that's just that one right there is a clear reflection of kind of how you're feeling about yourself, that you can go out of your way and just judge this person, talk shit, judge that person because you're not happy with who you are,
You're just
Mhm.
right? Because
projecting.
you're projecting. That's all you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And then you start resenting the people you love.
It's
And
kind of
you know
like that
what?
saying, one finger pointed forward, fingers pointed back.
Yep.
Well, when I first read that, what I said about the resenting the people you love, and that was kind of, it's almost like, and self-sabotaging, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And when I was so angry with myself, especially in relationships, that's where I shut down, I push away. There's the sarcasm, there's the judgment of others, and I start resenting the people that just wanted to love me or be there
Mhm.
for me, when really I was the fucking problem, and I was judging myself more than anybody, but internally, and I was suppressing the hurt and the anger of all the things that was dealing with that had nothing to do with them, that I didn't
Yeah.
talk about, and that's why that relationship failed, and then that's what relationship after that failed, and the one after that failed, and I went through this cycle because I was suppressing my anger. I wasn't explosive. I was suppressing it for years, and the
Yeah.
hurt, and
And then some poor bastard's gonna feel all that after.
yeah, and the women, like, you know, they didn't deserve it, and I wasn't a piece of shit where I was abusive or cheating, because I always try to be a good guy. I didn't even swear at them. But on the other side, they have needs. They want this. You're supposed to be doing this, and I was neglecting it all, shutting down, made it about me, not about them or us, and then I would self-sabotage because I was pushing so much anger and hurt down that I couldn't talk to them about it because I feel judged. So instead of letting it out or talking about it, I just suppressed it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where my sarcasm came. That's where all this shit comes from, or came from. And then at the same time, then they're fed up because they're not getting what they need, and they're out. When in reality, I didn't want to break up, but I just didn't know how to deal with that anger, and I suppressed
Mm-hmm.
it, and I didn't talk about it. And then they're like, "I can't be with you. No, I'm out." And then I
Yeah.
ended up breaking my heart on top of that, so I just made myself even worse.
It's almost like it's a form of self-harm too, eh?
Yeah. Yeah,
You
I
know
got a
what?
definitely.
And
question for you
now that
guys. I've been working on this with my therapist too. What what does it feel like for you? Like, what are the physical reactions that you get when you get angry?
Like running what happens to our bodies or just like
Yeah.
in our mind?
Like, what does it feel like in your body when you feel anger happening?
Oh, buddy. Okay, so let me just say this. Just the other 2 Sundays ago, I think I told you guys, I snapped. Actually, I know I talked to you, Anthony, about it. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
my late fiance's mother called me after 6 months, wanting money back for the portion of what her daughter paid for our dog, and it just blew me away, and I finally snapped because of all the shit that, they blame me for her death and all this shit, right, that you can hear about in the past podcasts. But anyway, so I snapped on her, and, I mean, I haven't snapped like that, God, in years. Usually, I can hold my composure fairly good now, and I tore into her, and I was vibrating, like, I was literally vibrating. My whole body was just like, when you get the shivers, it's like that. Like, my whole body was just multiple shivers over and over and over, you know? It was definitely like adrenaline running through my veins. I felt like I just shotgun 40 Red Bulls and was ready to go, you know?
Yep. What about you, Joey?
How about you, Joey?
whenever I got like that, it was pretty close to that, but my anxiety, like it shot so far through the roof. And normally I'm a pretty chill guy, but if I get to that point, just like you vibrating, like it was like, I don't know if you remember the old arcade, X-Men arcade growing up, and there's the Juggernaut,
Oh, yeah.
and he's like,
Yeah.
like fucking, like literally, like fuck, I'd smash the Hulk out, and I would just like every vein would come out of my body, and I'd be shaking violently, and that feeling, it's like a blank stare. Like there is no,
Yeah.
like there was no way I could feel any other emotion. You could stab me in the back with literally with a knife, and I wouldn't even feel it because
Yeah,
the
just rage.
adrenaline of just rage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
but
definitely.
that anxiety that goes with it, like walking and like a panic attack at the same time, where I
Yeah.
can't breathe. Like, like this and like hyperventilating because I'm trying
Hyperventilating.
and I can't, like, even when you feel like that and you don't like to trying to bring yourself down, I couldn't even do it. Like I
Well,
was
that's
just
what, like you
fucking
were saying,
incredible.
with your heart, right? You're hyperventilating, which is you're pumping blood so fast, which you can have, you know what I mean? A lot of people when they're angry, this is totally true now that like you brought this up, is a lot of people have heart attacks. They get so angry that they have a heart attack and then they croak,
Yep.
or even you do stupid things. I mean, it almost cost me a good portion of my life from me being angry. I was 17 years old, and I was going to my buddy's party. It was like a couple blocks away, and buddy comes downstairs and says a joke, a mama joke. Never met this guy before. I'm like, oh shit, I'll be right back. I forgot my weed. Went home, grabbed my machete, put it in my pants, came back to the party. I told buddy, oh, tell buddy to come downstairs. I will smoke a doob with him. Soon as he came outside, out of the elevator. I pulled the machete out. I ran right at him and made a really shitty decision in my life and chopped him in the back of the head. Guy hit the ground, blood everywhere. I was like, holy fuck, what did I do? I ran home. As soon as I got home, I told my mom I did something really bad and the cops are on their way. You know, luckily I got dropped down to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. But even then, man, you know, and do I regret it? No, because it put me where I am today. But do I feel bad for that person and me hurting them? Definitely do. You know, would I do it again? No. But I mean, just on anger and something stupid, a mama joke. I never met this guy and I felt like he was disrespecting me. And just on something stupid, I take a machete and chop this guy. And luckily he lived. Like, I could have fucking lost everything, you know? And it's just, we make these stupid mistakes running on our emotions when we have to step back, smell the roses, figure out cooler heads prevail. And, you know, every time I say that, you know, it's true. You know, it's true. You have to step back. You have to see the whole situation, and you think more clearly. Because like when you're trying to argue and your anger, it's just like blinders, like a horse, you know, and you just see red, and all you can focus on is that whatever it is that's bugging you.
Yeah, and then you carry that and hold on to that for days, weeks, months,
Yeah,
especially if something that's severe that someone's done to you or betrayed you or hurt you, right? Just like I said, the
yeah,
bowling ball or the brick. It's the
yeah,
same thing, but you're carrying that around in your head.
yeah,
And you can't think of anything else but how heavy this fucking bowling ball is, dragging this around, or this ball and chain. Same shit. That's what you're doing when you're carrying around all this anger in your mind and you can't let it go.
yeah,
And you're holding on to it, and then it starts to pour out onto, you know, your marriage, your relationship, your fucking relationships with your coworkers and at your job
Your
and
kids,
your
man.
friends and your kids. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
loved ones. Yeah,
That's
Your
the energy
kids
that
can
you're
feel
putting
that
out.
shit every time, man. Like, even though they're young and innocent, like they catch vibes. Like, fucking right, they do.
oh yeah,
Yeah, like
man.
even like I can relate to both of you guys in like the physical reaction. Like, I get that internal vibration and the
Yeah,
anxiety, man. Like, that's like it's almost like the initial reaction is a freeze, but then realizing I'm frozen and that I can't fucking stay here, it just switches over to fight. So it's that
yeah,
initial reaction is the anxiety and the fear, and then it switches and I get that internal vibration. And I literally when I my anger, like dude, I feel like I'm gonna fucking puke. Like I get
yeah,
nauseous,
yeah,
and then it's the
yeah,
vibration. And like you said, Joey, like there's nothing there. Like it's like I'm cold and there's no emotion except for anger. Like, it's a sick fucking place to be, man, and I don't mean sick like surfer dude sick, like, it's a not good
yeah,
place to be. Like,
yeah.
yeah, man, fuck.
Well,
Yeah,
you
that
know,
shit'll kill you, man.
another thing, and I am still to this day, man. I don't think I'll be honest. I don't ever think I'll get over it because it drives me crazy. But road rage, man. I don't know why. I don't like flip out like crazy, but I'll sit in my car like, "What are you doing?" Blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think everybody has got some road rage in them, but it's a matter of you don't take that next step, right?
yeah.
But I mean, road rage. I don't know. I think everybody's got a little bit of road rage in them.
If you're gonna be angry, do it in your car by yourself. It's a safe place to do it.
Yeah, but that's like being a keyboard warrior. You're hiding behind your wheel. That's why a lot of people have rage because they can just speed away and fucking yap their mouth until someone gets out of the car. Then you got a problem. But
Oh, don't get me wrong, man. I've stopped my vehicle in the middle of the highway like years ago to get out. Like it was I had a bad time for a bit there, man. But you know, I've been working on myself. But I'll be the first to say I ain't no fucking angel.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I'm real as fuck. I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, you've never had road rage before.
You're about
but
No,
that
you
man,
life.
know,
I've been there.
but
You know?
the road rage is also stems from something than a guy that just cut you off and didn't use his blinker, and then this guy fucking loses it in his car over it. Yeah, he could have cut you off. He might have put you in the meridian. Yeah, it could have ended up a little worse or bad.
Yeah,
But that reaction to that extent where now you're cutting him off, you're getting out of your car, you're punching out his
Yeah,
window.
that's much.
Like there's something else going on in that guy's life for you to go fucking snap show in the middle
Yeah.
of the fucking bridge and pull your car over to lose your shit. You know what I mean? Like if he deliberately drove by you, waved a gun at you, tried to kill you, I can maybe see it. But majority of these incidents on the it's someone just wasn't paying attention, didn't see you in the blind spot, whatever it is,
Yeah.
might have fucking blew the fucking stop sign a little bit, and then it gets really bad because people's anger issues, right? And
Yeah.
they use that as a trigger from something that stemmed from way bigger than that little incident. And
Yeah.
that poor old man that cut you off and didn't see you, well, he's getting the fucking shit end of the stick for that because it's the shit that this guy's been holding on to, or female, that they're struggling with, and they're carrying that fucking bowling ball in their head
Yeah.
because they're already angry. They just got more angry because of this small trigger. They're
Yeah, it's
already
pent up
upset
anger.
and they're already struggling with something in their head, and it's pent up.
Yeah.
It's suppressed, this anger.
Yep.
So now
Yeah.
every little thing is fucking, it's turning a mountain from a molehill, like they say, and
Yeah.
that's what people do. Then they come home, and then the little trigger at work, now it ruins your whole day, and you're coming home and swinging at the wife and smashing the walls and don't talk to me for the rest of the night, and they're losing it because they're
Yeah.
holding on to so much hurt, and a
Yep.
lot of it is pain, and there's a lot of pain,
Yep.
and
Unsolved.
obviously, and people take it out in the wrong ways. 100% punching out women, all this kind of shit. Don't ever do that in front of me because I'd punch you up. But
Definitely.
we
You
don't
don't put 'em
agree
on
with
me.
a lot of how this comes out. But again, like that book that I read, it's not what's wrong with you, it's what happened to you. Why are you acting this way? Why have you become this person? There's something that you're not talking about. You are suffering with a lot of pain. And that
Yeah.
is what it is. It's a lot of pain, and they don't know how to express that pain. And it comes out way wrong and ends up, and if you are those people with that explosive anger, and that's how you're releasing it, you are going to not only hurt the people that didn't deserve it, but you're going to start taking down your own life and self-sabotaging in every aspect. I did it with relationships, but you could do it with your
Mhm.
jobs. Now you're losing your jobs. Now you have no
Yeah.
money. Now you're stressed out. Now you're not paying the bills. Now you got nowhere to live. Now you can't see your
Vicious
kids.
cycle.
Now you can't see your kids, all because you chose not to deal with the pain and the anger that you're holding on inside of you because it blew and it's blowing up in your face. And these snap show explosive angry people, that's exactly what that is. It's blowing up in your face because you're not
Yeah.
dealing with it. So that's the only way you think you know how to express that.
Yeah.
But just like Anthony and myself, is when you get to that point, you're blank. You can't feel nothing else. All you see is this anger and this feeling of anxiety, and that's it. There's no reasoning with
No.
you or anybody in that. There's
Mhm.
no calm down, give me a hug,
Yeah,
let's talk
there's
about it. It's nothing. Like that just either, you know what I mean? Like you can't reason with someone who gets to that point.
no there's
No.
no
You're
talking you down off that ledge, man. When I get
Yeah.
like that, like a lot of situations, like looking back and kind of what I'm dealing with in therapy had to do with my ex-girlfriend. And she used to say, man, she's like, I know when you get like that, there's nothing I can say to you. I just have to like either like block you until you're done or just fucking ride it out and let you say what you're
Yeah.
gonna say and let you do what you're gonna do until you're calm and just sit here and tell you that I love you. Like there's no interjecting in that moment because I've got to fucking get through it the way that I'm gonna get through it. Thankfully, I don't react to the extreme that I used to in active addiction, but it's still not healthy. Like fuck, like you
No.
said, Eric, like I'm still human, but like
Yeah.
the difference is like that's why we're here. Like I'm acknowledging these things. I'm working through these things. I'm paying money to gain tools to be able to handle these things. But it's not an easy road. Like for me, like I can let go of a lot of shit in life, man, but I'll tell you if anger's involved, anger is the fucking hardest one to like
Yeah.
let go of. But don't get me wrong, like there is a possibility of catching it before it gets to that point. Like I remember like you guys remember my story, and like there's certain things, certain details that I left out when I was on the podcast the first time that you guys know about. But the situation with my kid's mom when I found out she was having an affair, irrelevant to who it is, but I remember when this happened, like, dude, I was fucking angry. And I remember calling my sponsor, being like, dude, you better give me one good reason not to pull up to this motherfucker's house and drag him out of his house and beat the shit out of him right now. He's like, well, like, I can't stop you. You could do that. But like, let's just think of the consequences here before we get there. You do that, you're probably gonna go to jail for assault, and he's probably gonna end up fucking your girl anyways. And that was enough for me to
Yeah.
not do it in that moment, right? But
Yeah.
there is that threshold that if you cross, like for me, if I get past that line, you might better just leave me alone until I come crawling back apologizing. Because there's
Mhm.
no,
Mhm.
it's all gas, no fucking brakes. And it's a
Well,
hard
sometimes
thing
you
to
just
work
need
through.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Space and like these fucking rage rooms, man. Like I just want to hit one up just for shits and giggles. I feel like that was like such a good idea. Like what a way to corner
Mhm.
an emotion, the fucking hardest one to get through, and
Rage
profit
room.
off of it. Yeah, rage rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you also can bring whatever you want to smash as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can add to it and bring whatever. And you know what? Use it. That's an outlet.
Mhm.
That's why it's called rage room to
Yeah.
release aggression. Like you're having like I know a few people that have gone to a rage room and they walked out like, dude, I fucking needed that. And it was their therapy. Just like, a lot of people use yoga as their therapy or the gym. Some people use the rage room, use a
Yeah.
heavy bag in a gym and go box for half an hour and hit that bag.
Definitely.
Anything, if you're that person that needs to get that, you're that explosive, fucking raging type of person, and you know that you can feel it coming on, or you're just having a fucking real bad day, and you're walking around and people are, what's wrong? Nothing. And you know that it's coming, and people can see it, your kids can feel it. Man, go for an hour. Just go to that rage room, to go talk to somebody, go hit the bag, go fucking hammer the weights, something, and find that release, the positive release. Go run up the side of a mountain in a trail, whatever. And just and about that's all a part of learning to regulate your emotions better. So, like Anthony said, and we're all human. We're all gonna get mad at something. We're all gonna be angry sometimes. We're all gonna get disappointed. We're all gonna get hurt. As we get older, it's just gonna keep coming. That's life. That's normal.
Yep.
But the biggest thing is when you get to those moments and you can feel it, especially with the aggression and the rage and the anger, is having those tools to really dial that back. Where now you're not punching holes in the walls. You might be angry, but now you're not smashing anything, and you just need to not talk to anyone for an hour, go for a walk, whatever. And you're figuring these things out as you go, and you're
Yep.
being a little more self-aware and able to bring that anger from holding on to it for a week to now you're only holding on to it for an hour, right? And
Well,
that's the biggest thing of regulating your emotions and learning and finding these tools is so that you're able to calm yourself down and not get into that level of anxiety and basically it's pain. That's what it is. It's
yeah.
just a rage of pain
Yep.
that you're
Like
holding
that
on to.
woo-saw shit, you know what I mean? Do something do whatever it is to take.
Breath work,
I
man.
mean, yeah, breath work is amazing. Take cold plunges even. But like, what's the best thing you could do, I would say, is take that anger, take that rage, and transform it into something that's gonna drive you and like your business. Say if you're out there and you're you know have your own business, but you got some rage in you, fucking use that rage and drive it in the business to make it, go farther. It's all
There
about
are healthy
redirecting.
ways to put
You
it. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
use your anger and your pain as a passport to elevate you.
Oh
Don't let it
shit. That's a good one.
like that one.
Ooh,
That was all right.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, use it as a passport to elevate you to make you better.
I
You
like
you
that.
use that pain as a reward, right?
Yeah,
Take that to drive you
exactly.
like you said. not bring you down. Turn that inwards instead of out onto bleeding on people that didn't cut you and tearing up your own fucking house that you know you're going to have to fix 3 days later because you're an idiot because you couldn't control your emotions. So why not take that, flip it around, turn it into, if you're already working on a business, go harder on your business. You're a big gym guy. Now you're going twice a day until you
Yeah.
learn to calm down and release and let that push you, just like heartbreak. Like the heartbreak, especially, and that all goes hand in hand. Use that pain, use that anger, and because there is a lot of anger in heartbreak, especially when it's something like I said, they cheated on you, or it was with your best friend, and all these things that happen to these people that causes this rage and this pain and this anger. But turn that around, elevate yourself with that pain, because that is your biggest blessing, is that pain. It's just
Yep.
the perspective on how you look at it and what you do with that. Like we said last week, your perspective is either your power or your prison. Which one's it going to be? It's like
I
choosing your
like that.
heart, right?
Yeah. Well, what about you, Anthony? Like, what I know you're actually like you touched on earlier that you're talking about anger right now with your therapist.
Yeah.
So, what could you suggest to like people that are listening that like you would say to deal with that if you like to help you deal with your anger?
You know what it is for me? The biggest thing for me is acknowledging it before I get to that point, because
Hmm.
I know I'm explosive, but I can feel it building up. And it's
Yeah.
like the thing I talked about with my therapist is like, what am I going to do with it? Like, because it's energy, right? It's just built up energy.
Yep.
And
Yep.
like, where am I going to put it? Like, fuck, I might just start knitting sweaters. And by the time I'm done, if I'm angry as fuck, it's going to be the best goddamn sweater I ever knit in my life. But
I
no,
could use
like,
some socks, bro.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's cold and wet out there. But no, just like acknowledging the emotions before they get to that point, because
Yep.
you can stop it. And for the most part, I'm good. But my therapist, honestly, boys, she's really just tried to push me into like, she said to me, what did she say to me? Fuck. She's like, I know you're an information gatherer. Like, I know you're a learner. I know you don't like to let people down. So, like, when you feel like that, she's like, I want you to do this for me. I want you to start looking into certain things. Like, actually, I got it on my phone here. Let me look. Where the fuck is it here? Um, like when I'm feeling that feeling, do some research on safety and feeling unsafe. Um, and how fear equals rejection, seeking validation from other people. Um, where's the other one here? Just like she essentially said, like when you get like that, just like Joey said, use it as a time to learn more about yourself. When you
Hmm.
start feeling a little fucky, start learning about yourself. Do the research. And that's why this thing
Yeah.
is perfect for it, right? Just keep doing the
Well,
research.
finding the lesson, and really, like we always say, what I mean? There's a lesson in everything in life,
Mhm.
right? It's just a matter of, opening your eyes and finding it.
Mhm.
It's like that, what's that? That red car. You see the video, the red car effect or whatever?
Yep.
You ask, how many red cars did you see driving home? Oh, I got to think about it now. But if I told you, look for red cars before you go home, you're going to count every single one of them.
Dude, I do that with guys that I sponsor all the time. I'll tell them the way I word it to them is I'll say, "Okay, tomorrow by the time like lunchtime, text me at lunchtime, tell me how many red cars you saw on your way to work." They'll text me and tell me how many red cars they saw, and then I'll say, "Okay, cool. How many blue cars did you see?" And they're like, "Well, I wasn't looking for blue cars." It's like, "Exactly.
Right.
So your perspective was focused on the red ones and not the blue
Yeah.
ones. So if you can
Yep.
change your perspective that easily, why not do it in other aspects of your life?"
100%,
Instead of
man.
being angry, instead of being resentful, why don't you just try being fucking grateful? And like
Yep.
Joey said, like last week, like you can't be, what'd you say? You can't be anxious and grateful at the same time.
No, it's impossible because the front part of your brain
Yeah.
that controls your anxiety is the
Mhm.
same part of the brain that controls gratitude.
Yeah.
So you can't be grateful and anxious at the same time.
And that shit works,
So
dude. Like I literally try to pinpoint little shit in my life to just try to feel anxious and then think about being grateful. It's like, yeah, you can't do both at once.
No, you
It's
can't.
easy as fuck, man. Like that's
You can you can have anxiety through the roof, and you're fucking shaking, feeling sick, and then be like, oh, but I'm grateful for my like you try to say it out loud even, but
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
doesn't work because when you're grateful, it's like a feeling. It's like an emotion almost. Like when you're in a good spot in your day or even in your life at the moment, and you really look back at the things that you do have and that you truly are grateful for, you can feel that.
Yeah, man.
And that's what they mean is the gratitude. Everyone can say, well, I'm happy I have healthy kids. I'm happy
Yeah.
I got my mom and dad still. I'm happy this, I'm happy that. But you're not feeling it. It's just like manifesting. It's the same thing. Oh, I know I'm going to get $1 million. I know my business is going to take off. But if you don't feel it, it's not going to work. So the
Yeah.
gratitude has to be the same thing is you got to feel it and you got to be in that feeling of gratitude and being grateful for the things that you do have,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
It's
I
about being
actually
in
heard, and you
perspective.
know what? You asked me last week, Anthony, about what our quotes were,
Yep.
that motivational quotes.
Yep.
And I totally forgot this one. And it goes hand in hand with what we're talking about right now. And it says, if you don't learn the language of gratitude, you will never be on speaking terms with happiness.
Ooh, I
Ooh,
like that.
Boom.
that's a good one.
Right?
I like it.
Fuck
And
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
facts. And it's facts. Because instead of, oh, I don't have this and I don't have that, but you're like, man, because you see so many people out there in the world and we take so many things for granted, especially in the Western world. Like we have way more than most people think they do. And the
Yeah.
people that think they have problems, they have no first world problems. They just got work to do. They just
Yeah.
complain. I don't have this and I don't have that. And my life sucks because I didn't get that raise last week and whatever it is, all these stupid first world problems. But when you can sit back and be like, you know what? Dude, my kids are so happy when I'm with them and when I see them and with their other family. And I get along with everyone at work. All these little things that people seem to overlook. Like I have a nice decorated cozy house. I have a car. Doesn't matter if it's a fucking Ferrari. I have a car that runs and it gets me to where I need to be. I have great friends. And all these things that everyone seems to look past and it's all about material things and oh well, I'd be happier if I had that new Corvette and this and like, dude, shut up. Like, no, you wouldn't, to be honest, because I was that guy. Oh, and it's like retail therapy. When you're feeling
Yeah.
shitty about yourself, you start to borrow the credibility of fucking material things. Because now I feel better looking and I feel better because I fucking rented a Ferrari and I bought a Corvette and I did this and women paid 2 grand for a designer bag. You're an idiot.
You're an
You're
idiot.
yeah, it's nice to have nice things. We all want nice things. And I encourage it. Yeah, get something nice for yourself once in a while if you can. Treat yourself. You deserve it, 100%. But all these things that you're borrowing credibility for is just a front and a cover for how you're really feeling about yourself and how your life's going because you're trying to impress people that don't give a fuck about you. Fancy
True.
cars and $5,000 designer bags only impresses broke people.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. And do you
True,
think like
man.
yeah, you can post a fucking picture of you in my new convertible Beamer and you get a couple likes and no, that's a nice car. But most of those people are like, fuck that guy, man. I want that car. Or they don't realize like you just went broke buying this stupid thing to try to impress people because you feel shitty about yourself. Because I did that with one of my cars, dude. Fucking $1,500 a month. Who the fuck pays that for a car? I
Yeah.
did because I
Dude, you
was
know what
feeling
I see?
so down on myself that I thought buying this car would make me feel better. And 2 weeks later, I just put myself $75,000 worth of debt instead. And I had the car, but I'm like, I can't even afford to drive it now. Like, you're a fucking idiot.
That's what I see now, man. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like when I see people with really nice things, the first thought in my head every time now, man, is like, holy fuck, could you imagine how much fucking debt they're in? Like you don't own it. Like, let's be real. Like you're in debt for that thing. That's my first thought
Mhm.
every time. Super nice house. Like, fuck, what's their mortgage a month? Like, how the fuck do you afford
Mhm.
that? You know? Fucking $250,000 Mercedes. Like, holy shit, that's got to be a mortgage payment on a fucking vehicle that you drive part time because you're sure as shit not driving it in the winter. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a waste of money, man.
I don't
Fucking
know if
drug
it's
money, man.
Yeah.
I heard this the other day. It was like a financial show or something on the TikToks and shit. That if you drive down the street and you look at all these big houses that everyone looks at that has a boat in the driveway, 2 new cars in the driveway, 7 out of 10 of those people are living paycheck to paycheck, and they're one financial move away from going bankrupt or one
Yeah,
layoff from fucking losing it all.
that's
Yep.
so true. So true, man.
Crazy. But everyone
Yeah.
sees that convertible new car that guy's driving, like that guy's balling. Like,
Mhm.
no, he's not. He still lives in his mom's basement on a fucking mattress, and his fucking sister's his roommate.
What is it?
But
House broke
it's
or whatever it's called?
yeah,
Yeah, house broke.
House broke. Yeah.
because the people that like I said, all these things only impress broke people. That's it. Because the people that have money don't dress like that. They don't have. They have used cars because they're smart. That's why they got money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's anyways. Kind of
I'm
getting a
broke.
little off.
That shit impresses me.
We're kind of getting a little off subject here, but
I'm playing.
Have you guys seen the road rage? Holy fuck, am I having a stroke? Road rage TikToks where the people like are in the midst of the road rage and they actually realize that they're just being fucking stupid. I saw one the
No.
other day, and this guy's like, he walks up to the window, and the guy's in the car filming the other guy. He's like, "I'm gonna beat your fucking dick off," and the guy in the car's like, "That's a little gay, isn't it?" And he's like, "Yeah, that is a little gay. I'm sorry." And then he just like turns around and walks away. Like, the fuck, man, make an ass of yourself.
What about that idiot that's like they made so many memes about it? The guy's punching on the window.
Oh, and
It's like
they made like
doof,
songs
doof.
with it. Yeah,
Yeah,
we should
man.
get him on the show. Talk about anger
No
with him.
kidding. Right? We'll
Mhm.
we'll help you out there, buds. We'll do a 10-step program for you.
Yeah, I know a
Right?
couple of
Like,
those steps.
but
but
at
yeah,
the end of the day, man, at the end of the day, we're all fucked. We're all fucked. We all have these emotions. Everybody is the same. We're all the same. You know, we go through these highs and we go through these lows, but it's how we deal with them, you know. You know, we joke around, whatever, but at the end of the day, yeah, like go see a counselor, you know, do the work. There's anger management programs and books. You can get them online even. You know, scream in a pillow, punch a bag, punch your pillows, you know, whatever it is to get that out, you know. It's just don't hold that shit in, man. It destroys you.
Yeah, man,
I just
nobody's
wanted to say
immune to
that.
this shit. Here's one more good question, because I do believe that there is an appropriate amount of anger. Like, you're allowed to be angry at certain things.
Yeah, definitely.
So what would be your guys' situations where you feel anger is acceptable? And Joey, you kind of already touched on yours with your kids when it comes to your parenting and your kids, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. But is there anything else
Yeah.
you feel is like an appropriate scenario? And in saying that, I don't mean like I'm allowed to be angry, so I'm allowed to punch 16 holes in my fucking door. Like, no, like
Yeah.
there are situations where anger is an adequate response to a situation. So, like, for you guys, what would you feel like a scenario or something in your life that you hold so much value where you feel like getting angry would be an appropriate reaction?
well, you're right that anger, like there is healthy amounts of anger, right?
Yes.
There
Mhm.
is, and it is normal. We every single one of us is gonna feel angry or frustrated at somebody or something, and you're gonna feel that from this day forward probably a million more times. Either if it's just a small thing or a big thing,
Yeah.
you're gonna feel it. It's anger. It's normal. It's a normal emotion. Just like if you're sad, you're gonna cry. You're happy, you're gonna smile. It's the same shit. It's all normal emotions that we're allowed to feel, and it's okay to feel those things. And even anger is one of them. And I think for healthy anger, it for me is like I work very hard. I've always worked hard in life and in my day job and so on. So like me at my job, for example, I'm a supervisor, right? And
Mhm.
I'm probably the coolest, best supervisor, and I get along. There's no I'm above you, no nothing. But when you deal with people and you ask them over and over, for example, and probably with people with their kids, you ask them over and over, like, clean your fucking room. I need you to do this before we go out. Or at work, I need you to get this done. We're on a schedule. We got to do this tomorrow. Like, I'm the one that sees the week ahead. I'm just letting you know this is what we need done. And then you're not doing it or you're making excuses. And because I take that very seriously, because one thing about me is I hate when someone tries to make me look dumb or if I feel like I look dumb. It's just for me, like that's something that fucking puts me over the edge, and I'm chill. So for me, it's dealing with people at work where you get angry, but just because you care and you want a job done safely, or if they're not doing it safely and that kind of shit, right? So
Yeah.
that's just one example that I can think of off the top of my head. But
Yeah, that's fair.
My turn.
Yeah, bud.
I would have to say definitely being disrespected. I think that's actually a big one for me because I don't go out there and I don't disrespect anybody. I want to be talked the same way as I talk to, And I mean there's and like we said there's different levels of angry, right? Definitely. But definitely I would say being disrespected or being belittled or bully in that category definitely would shoot me off.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what mine would be too. I have a hard time respecting people who don't respect people. You
Yeah.
know, at the end of the
that
day, it's not fucking hard to just be a nice person. I had one scenario. I was going up to see my tattoo artist, and I always stop at this place and get these little fucking donut things for them because they love them, and I love them. They're great people, like everybody who works at the shop. And I go in there, and this guy, some fat fucking lazy old slob's getting pissed because it's taking long. It's a Friday night. The place is packed. So like, let's just fucking relax. And he's losing his shit on all these employees. And my initial response was to tell this guy to shut the fuck up. But
Yeah.
instead I paused and I walked out and I got in my truck and I was like, you know what? Fuck this. And I walked back in. He was still in there. And I just walked up to the cash. I said, how many of you guys are working here right now? And I think there was 6 or 7 of them. I'm like, okay, can you just ring me up for something? And they're like, why? I was like, because I'm going to tip every one of you guys 10 fucking dollars because you guys are doing an amazing job. And I turn and look right at him. It's like,
Fuck yes.
yeah, you don't got to be a fucking asshole to this guy, but these people just got shit on by this guy because he's miserable because he can't go home and stuff his face
Yeah.
with little donut holes. Like, fuck this guy. Like
Yeah.
instead of doing that, like turn it around and show respect to the people who are working hard.
Yeah, man.
I have a serious issue with people, even when they're angry, can't show respect to other people.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like you said, treat how you want to be treated, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It drives me
I'm
insane.
Mhm.
I think for me though, like the reason I didn't say that what you said is
Mhm.
because when I see that, I go up, I think a little past the healthy anger
Yeah.
because when I see, like you said with that guy, for example, like straight disrespect, like I will stand up for anybody in a store, at a gas station. If I see people getting treated like that, especially for no reason, oh, I'll fucking talk to you face to face right now.
Yeah.
And that anger, because that is one of the few things that will set me off is one, making me look dumb and the disrespect. Like even when I date women, I've never even sworn at one. Like you say fuck when you slam a door,
Yeah.
but I'm huge with respect. There is a huge difference between, joking around and that line of disrespect, whether it's in relationships or with your friends, or with friends especially, but in general, like if I, especially in public, like what you seen,
Mm.
buddy, like for example, I seen that, I don't know, a month or two ago, I was at Subway and there was a gentleman and his mom. The guy was probably 30 something and the mom's like 50. And this lady, I swear, was like the most miserable human being on the planet. And she's telling these young Pakistan girls that are making her sandwich. And there's 5 of us behind her and we're in work gear. And she's like, "You want to hurry up, please?" And like talking like this. I'm like, excuse me, and she's like, and then the poor little girls, you know what I mean? They're like so
Mhm.
quiet and innocent. They're like, okay, would you like this? She's like, I said onions, like just snapping for no reason. And then the son, I guess, or whoever is waiting outside. So this lady is snapping at these girls, and you can see they're like terrified now. And then she's like, would you like any sauce? She's like, no, I said no fucking sauce. She's like,
Wow.
will you people hurry up? I'm like, that's it. I looked at the lady. I said, you people? Who the fuck do you think you are? I don't care if it's a woman or not. You start treating people like that, I'll fucking tell you
Yeah.
where to go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I looked at the
Mhm.
lady, and I looked at the lady that was ordering the sandwich. I said, you don't get that fucking sandwich now. And then I looked at the two young girls. I said, I'll pay for that, and I'll give it to the people behind me. You ain't getting fucking nothing. I said, she's like, excuse me. I'm like, get the fuck out of here right now. How dare you talk to people like this, or you disrespect people like that, who's just trying to do their job. And they were listening to what you said. It's not like they were not hearing what you said. I
Yeah.
was like, I just paid for that sandwich. You don't fucking get it. And then she walked out and fucking slammed the door open. I'm like, fuck her. Too bad.
Yeah.
And I
Yep.
paid for her sandwich and I just gave it to the fucking lady with the two kids that was like 4 people behind me.
It's
Beautiful.
almost like
Like, so
the
that
soup
shit. So
Nazi. No
there's no healthy anger there. There's no
Yeah.
healthy anger. You see like that and you treat people like that, because on the first season of this podcast, and I say it all the time, at the end of every episode, what do I say? If you can't find good people, be good people, because there's not enough of them in the world.
But Joey, that is good anger because you're setting this woman straight because she's being disrespected.
Yeah.
Or she's
Yeah, but
being
the way I was
disrespectful.
feeling in the anger wasn't good. So
Oh, okay.
there's good angry,
Yeah.
there's
You're
good
good
anger,
for them, but bad for you.
good
Yeah.
for them, good well, setting them straight, sure, and
Yeah.
standing up for people that
Yeah.
aren't able to stand up for themselves. But
Yeah.
the way I feel in a situation like that, there's no good anger there. There's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
if you were a guy, I would have already got arrested, because I probably
Yeah.
would have drilled you right in the head for fucking saying that to them.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? So there's no
I
good anger in terms of how I felt.
know we're getting to the end here near there, but I do have to ask you one thing, Joey. Where's your
What the
turntables?
fuck was that?
Where's the
And
turntables?
here it comes.
Oh yeah.
And here it comes.
I want to see the turntables.
Did you get
I'm
some?
working on it. I'm working on it.
Are you actually getting some?
Well, no, because I started a entertainment company.
Oh, did you really?
So yeah, because I'm already doing my yacht parties and shit. So
Prestige
now
Worldwide, man.
yeah.
Buddy, I got the best DJ name for you. You could wear a milk crate over your head because everybody's you'd be DJ Milk Crate. Your first tune would be Lactose Intolerant. You know, no homo. Like, I think you'd be great, bro. I got all your shit lined up. I'll be your producer. I got you, man.
Dude, you fucking got this shit from ChatGPT, didn't you?
Not at all, man. Not at all.
You're so full
Swear
of
to
shit.
God. I swear to God, man.
These are
I
genuine
swear to
Eric
God.
thoughts.
No, me and my buddies, we were intoxicated years ago, and my buddy was running around his house with a milk crate on his head, and he had a DJ like turntables, and then we're like, okay, new name, DJ Milk Crate. And we came up with all these like milk names for the DJ tracks. I'm telling you, buddy, it was fucking hilarious.
Oh my god.
But no, I've been working on the entertainment company because I already got DJs, bartenders, security. Now I'm just doing all, because I do my yacht parties and everything.
Yep.
And that's huge already. And so I'm doing all the little events in the middle, building up to every yacht party every year.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he's killing it. He's got some surprises. I'm excited, man.
So let
He's
me
got
ask
some
you,
good shit
Eric, how's
popping off.
the headspins coming over there, bud? Because he's
The
gonna need
headspins?
dancers. Yeah.
Oh, buddy, no problem. I'll do a fucking couple air flares for you too, bro. I got
Oh, there
this
you
shit.
go.
I used to be able to do a jackhammer back in the day, man.
Strap a couple fireworks to your ankles and do some air flares. There you go.
I did.
I did.
No,
I did.
I've never done air flares, but I could do like windmills, crunch mills, jackhammers, turtles. I could do flares, but not air flares.
I can do jackhammers in the bedroom.
That's a healthy outlet of anger for anyone listening. That's a good form of
Hell
anger.
yeah, man. Fuck it
yeah.
is. Rage sex. Fucking
Mhm.
it's the best.
Oh yeah. Let's
Yeah,
be
I
real.
mean,
I'm not getting anything, boys.
Just make sure she doesn't go fucking blue in the face.
Yeah, and then you end up on the fucking stand.
Yeah, pretty much. Well,
boys, what do you
I
think?
think that is it for episode 3.
That's a fucking good episode.
Ta-da!
It's always good, buddy.
Yeah,
It's
man.
always good.
Yeah, fuck. You were on fire last week, Eric. You're on fire this week. We're all on fire, boys. This thing's awesome. So for anybody
That's
listening,
why I'm going to the doctor's tomorrow.
Is it burn?
Oh, sorry. You're talking about us. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
No, so guys, like we love doing this thing, but at the end of the day, the listeners are the most important, right? Like that's why we do it. We love to hear from you guys too. So like don't hesitate to reach out. Don't hesitate to leave a review or rate us on our Spotify, TikTok, iTunes, Apple Music, YouTube, any of that shit, guys. Like all of it helps. And if you are struggling or you want to come on the show and just have us grill you for a fucking hour, we'd love to have you. Hit us up on TikTok at Raw Minds Podcast. Follow us at our respective TikToks, rawminds.eric, rawminds.joey, rawminds.anthony. And if you want to keep anonymous and you just want to have a chat outside of the podcast, hit us up on email as well at rawmindspodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, what can I say about anger? Just fucking breathe.
Grr.
Yeah,
Grr.
just fucking breathe it out. And don't be a
Juggernaut.
dick in public, all right? Just fucking
Yeah,
love
man.
everybody. You don't know what people are going through. Fuck.
100%.
Great.
I just want to say
Remember-
bye.
Can't find good people, be good people.
Love yous.
Bye.